Hello, hello, my friends. I'm curious. Are you a multi passionate who feels boxed in or struggles with the idea of focusing in on one niche, one product or service, or even one business model? I feel you so much because as a fellow multi passionate myself, I have run multiple businesses at the same time, as well as programs and different service offerings. And I know what it feels like to just think that you can't do all the things, right? And really hate when people tell you to choose just one. But I'm curious also that have you ever considered that maybe having too many options, especially in the beginning of your business, is actually slowing you down rather than helping you grow in your business? I know for me it did. And today I'm going to share with you the number one thing that helped me to go from making 100K in a year to 100K in a quarter and helping me exponentially grow my business. So, hello everybody. My name is Carissa Begonia. I am a business coach for BIPOC entrepreneurs, a LinkedIn expert, and a top voice. I'm a second generation Filipino American daughter of immigrants and the first and only in my family to start my own business. I really believe that entrepreneurship is the path to equity and life design is liberation. And at Conscious Exchange, we're creating an ecosystem and a movement of BIPOC entrepreneurs with this mission to achieve time, location, financial, and occupational freedom for themselves, their families, and their communities. So thank you so much for joining me today on Built by BIPOC on this Q&A Tuesday, where my business besties and I share some practical as well as mindset tips around questions that were commonly asked as when it comes to growing their businesses. And if you have a question or you just want to say hi and just some love, let me know in the comments. All right, so let's get into this idea of the power of one, right? So I know that folks, y'all are probably coming to me because you want to know how you can start to scale your business to $100,000 a year and beyond that, right? And I can tell you with absolute certainty that choosing to focus on one ideal client avatar, one product, and one platform is what made all the difference for me in this past year. And just a little bit of some backstory, before I really decided to double down in my business and focus on the one this one product offering, which today is actually my signature group program called Leap to Liberation. Uh, Before I decided to do that and double down on one product offer, one business model, one business, which is my business coaching business practice, I was running multiple different offerings as well as business models. So I was running a group called APIs for DEI, which was just a networking group for Asian American, Pacific Islanders, Native Hawaiians in the diversity, equity, inclusion space. I was a public speaker for mainly for diversity, equity, inclusion, and again API identity and leadership. I prior to that, I was running a cohort of also Asian American identity and somatic healing as well as emotional intelligence. And so there was a whole program that I created that stemmed out of the pandemic and seeing the racial reckoning that Asian Americans in particular were having in that time with the rise of anti-Asian hate. And so I was running all of these different models, offers, but I know I'm running more. Oh, I have a nonprofit, y'all. I run a nonprofit, a very small nonprofit that supports school children in the Philippines. So that technically is a whole other business. And even the business I was running or the program I was running for Asian Americans and identity, that was done in partnership with two other creators, two other facilitators. And so technically for me, these were just different businesses, right? My speaking career and my diversity, equity, inclusion work that also had multiple offers, right? So I was doing executive coaching. I was doing diversity, equity, inclusion consulting services. On top of that, I was still, because my background is in operations, I was still doing some operations consulting, fractional chief operational officer kind of work. And was starting to offboard some of those clients, and some of those clients weren't even in service-based products; they were in physical products, right? So, as you can see, maybe hear the whirlwind that you're noticing. I had my hands in many different offers, models, partnerships, etc. And as a multi-passionate, probably like you all, right? This kind of drives excitement, right? I'm also a manifesting generator, if you will, for those who follow human designer. And so I was running and trying to do all these different things because I was reacting to the need, right? And there, what I'm noticing for BIPOC entrepreneurs, especially, is that we are pioneers in what we do. People aren't really doing what we're doing, and so we see all these opportunities all the time. I think entrepreneurial brains, you see problems to be solved all the time, and you want to solve them, especially again as a manifesting generator. So I was running all of these different programs, all of these different offers, and it became both overwhelming in terms of a workload and just I was running out of space for myself to breathe, to relax, to rest. I was running all these different models also that required not just my time, but my team's time. And what was also confusing was the messaging that we were going to put out there for these different offers, for these different businesses, as well as the messages and what my clients were receiving. Okay, like what are we doing? Like, or what is Krista offering right now? Right. And also with that, something that I didn't really quite anticipate with running these different businesses and these models and these offers was my brain and my energy also bouncing around, just being depleted because I was bouncing around, even though I was sitting in one space, right? My mind was bouncing around to all these different types of businesses or clients, right? And what their needs were. So earlier this year, or maybe the end of last year, I just got exhausted, y'all. I was so tired, and was starting to feel um, the kind of the disconnect with some of the offers that I had, and some of even the partnerships and the businesses that I was running. And it wasn't because I didn't love it, but it was just again probably out of exhaustion that it was time that I wasn't feeling as energized and enthusiastic about all these different service offerings that I was providing. And so I decided that just out of my own well-being, to take a pause or to let go of almost all of these other models so that I can focus on just one. And let me tell you, the relief I had, the ease when I could just focus and know exactly what, the service I was providing, who I was targeting, what am I going to say on social media, how am I going to write this copy, etc. It was such a relief. And now when, you hear often like, hey, focus on one thing, one niche, one product, one platform, I get it, right? But had to put myself through that rigor to understand, like, oh, okay, this is why. And I can see the difference too, not just energetically, but financially, right? Okay, when I'm able to be much clearer on talking to my ideal client, right? My ideal client avatar, when I am focused in that niche, when I am really specifically just marketing and messaging that I have this one offer, again, my signature program, Leap to Liberation, I can just focus on selling that, right? I didn't have to worry about 10 million different offers and different price points, and different packages, etc. Right. And then the third part, just being on LinkedIn specifically, I was trying to be on Instagram, I was trying to be on Facebook. I have these ideas of having a podcast and creating a whole YouTube channel and all that. That all is happening now. But prior, just even a few months ago, I couldn't do any of that because I was just so scattered, right? And what's the message? And all the different platforms have different nuances and different kind of needs for them to be optimized and for them to work. And frankly, I couldn't do it myself. I needed to bring in that money so I could hire somebody else to do it, right? So all of those reasons were, it just helped me focus and helped me really expand my business, both in terms of the energy I had, the clients that came and I attracted and came to me, because they understood my messaging, as well as money, the profits, right? The part of the business, the fun part of the business, right? Making the money. So, and I'll tell you, it didn't come without some nervousness or fear, worry, and sadness too, to let go of some of my business babies, right? Everything I've been creating as an entrepreneur are like my little business babies, right? And so it's really hard to let go of those things sometimes. So I'm just curious, in the chat, if you want to drop in there for those who are watching, if any of this resonates, right? In terms of having to like running so many things that your energy is just depleted, or being confused in your own self, so that when you're messaging, whether that's in social media or on sales calls, you're kind of all over the place, right? And you are confused. So of course your clients are confused, right? And if anyone resonates with that, I'd love to see it in the chat. But so that is the background of why I fully believe in the power of one. And so I'm going to help you today just think about, okay, what are the main things that you want to focus on, especially in the beginning of your business when you're still learning how to be a business owner, right? Don't forget that owning a business and running a business is a different skill set than delivering your service, right? Many of us come from, say, corporate nonprofit spaces where we've been doing something for a decade, 2 decades, right, or more. And so we're experts, we're excellent at this thing. But what is new for us is running a business. And that's a skill set that, like, if you're not taught, right, many of us are not taught how to do that. It's a muscle you have to learn to build, and a new skill set you need to learn to create for yourself, right? And so we think that they're all the same thing and all one thing, right? And we don't give ourselves time to really understand what it's like now to be an independent business owner. So that's in the beginning, especially why I will very much emphasize creating and choosing one niche, one ideal client, one offer, as well as one platform. So let's like run through that a little bit, right? So in terms of one niche and one ideal client avatar, right? Here's some of the benefits of when you are able to speak to just that one person, right? And the more niche you get, the better, right? Probably heard that phrase, the riches are in the niches, right? So here, one thing that really comes up is you're able to speak your client's language, right? Even something as simple as moving from, say, the nonprofit space to corporate, or tech sector to education. The language that you use to speak to that client is different. And so you want to target and be able to speak the language, because that's just going to create resonance, right? So it's easier than to write your marketing copy, to show up on live and speak to exactly to your clients, even on sales calls, right? You're able to really connect with that potential client. You're also able to offer tailored solutions, right? Again, because from someone from the nonprofits, or say the corporate space, there might be completely different solutions that you need. Sometimes they overlap, but sometimes they are different, right? So you're able to much more easily tailor what that solution is, and again, create that trust, create that resonance. Also, it eliminates this confusion of like, who are you? What are you speaking to? Who are you speaking to? Are you talking to me? Right? Like, do you really serve BIPOC folks over here, or do you serve everybody? Right? Do you serve women, or are you serving everybody? Right? So it sometimes can be really confusing. And what we want to do when we're, especially again, talking to our ideal client, messaging, marketing, all the things, we want to be more specific so that people feel like, oh, you are talking to me, right? All right. So that is choosing the one niche and the one ideal client avatar. Now, the second thing to focus on is one offer. So this just makes your life easier when you're trying to sell, right? A lot of people come to me with this fear of being able to get on sales calls, and oftentimes it's because they're not very clear on what their product offering is themselves. It's not that they can't sell; it's that they don't know what they're selling, right? And so when we're confusing ourselves because we have multiple prices, I know a lot of my clients come from the social sector and want to offer sliding scale options, right? Which is amazing. There's all these different packages so that we can, cater the person who is, a newbie, or maybe more experienced, and then very seniored, or we want to create something that is a smaller package, like a 3-month thing versus a 6-month thing, or a whole year thing, right? So there's just so many options, and we get caught up in the whirlwind of those options. And then so when it comes down to, again, marketing it, messaging on social, saying it out loud when you're in networking events, talking about it on your in a sales call, we're confused. And so again, the client is confused, or the potential client is confused, right? So when you focus on one offer, including one price only in the beginning, you can put those sliding scales in afterwards. But when you focus on one, it allows you to more easily communicate what it is you do and how you serve them, right? And what people can hop into, right? So one offer, one price, one package, to focus on. And when you start to get used to that, then you can start expanding and adding to your product suite. I know someone did a poll recently among my friends, among my different communities of practice, and yeah, as you're starting to scale from over 100,000 to your multiple six to your seven figures, right? Yes, you're going to need different offerings in your suite, but in the beginning, which is a lot of who I'm talking to today, right? One, just focus on one and become excellent at delivering that and speaking about that. All right. So lastly, it's one platform. And for me, that means stick to LinkedIn, friends, right? There are so many different nuances, especially as I work with my social media manager now, who's excellent and completely masterful of like Instagram and Facebook, YouTube, etc. But in the beginning, I really just doubled down and focused on using one platform and getting on LinkedIn. And so there's just some silly nuances that you maybe don't think about when you have to use different platforms. Like I was doing this yesterday, the size of the banner, on LinkedIn versus Facebook, image sizes, character counts. You're getting messages on all these like DMs from all these different platforms. So like, again, that's spin and the overwhelm, right? And who's where and what are you talking about? What else happens? You get stuck also in content creation, and then you don't do some of the more income generating activities that are more important for your business, like sales, right? And doing lead generation. So because we're so focused on multiple platforms, which y'all know if you're content creators takes a lot of work, it creates, again, all this time you're spending on creating content and not doing other things that really are actually going to help generate more money in your business. Right. One advantage, so I'll just share that, for choosing one platform, for me, LinkedIn, was that eventually I've become so good at using LinkedIn that one, I teach it to my clients now as the main platform that they use for social media marketing. And I've become a LinkedIn top voice. So that's pretty cool, right? Got recognized on this platform because of the content I've been creating, how consistently I created it, the conversations I'm able to start, and the frequency in which I'm starting those conversations, hosting events like LinkedIn Live, like LinkedIn Audio. All right, so those are just a few reasons of why I think it's so important for you to believe in the power of one, to choose again your one niche or ideal client avatar, your one offer, and your one platform, especially in the beginning, so you can focus, build momentum, and then grow and scale. All right, friends. So if you have any thoughts or questions, I'd love to see it in the chat. If not, or in the meantime, I want to again thank you so much. I went along on this one, but I'm really passionate about talking about this because I made the same mistakes of trying to be everywhere, do all the things, especially as a multi-passionate who is good at a lot of things, is interested in a lot of things, and just don't get caught up in the fear that, if you decide to niche down and just choose one client, right? Choose one product, or again, choose one platform, that you're going to lose business. I think actually the opposite is true, that you're going to build momentum faster in your business that allow you to make more money, allow you to hire team members, and allow you to expand and grow faster. All right. So again, thank you so much for joining Built by BIPOC on this Q&A Tuesday. I know that focusing is hard when you have so many interests and you can't help yourself, but try to go after them all. But I know that if you slow it down and you focus, it can help you go faster. And if you're looking for help in growing your business past that 100K to that first 100K mark for you, right? I'd love to help you. The waitlist is open for my next cohort of my signature group program, Leap to Liberation. It's a 6-month group coaching program for BIPOC entrepreneurs specifically to teach them how to level up in their pricing and their product suite, market their service using the power of LinkedIn, as well as sell their services in a fun way, a human-centric way, and with a heart-centered approach. So Thank you so much again for those of you who have been joining me on these calls on these Q&A Tuesdays. If you're interested in joining the BIPOC, the Leap to Liberation program, or learning more about that, you can register for the workshop. You can find the link in the comments for more information or to book a call with me. All right, friends. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.